Welcome, everybody, to the Hadley Hour with our special in-studio guest, Dane Owens. You can find him at chrisdaneowens.com. Joining us here with his track, World Turns Round, off an album that we will be discussing a little later. Wow. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hadley Hour. You are listening to the Hadley Hour on a multitude of stations these days. Before I get into announcing my guest, I just have to brag for a quick second that the Hadley Hour, which is originally airing on Indie100.com, which you can hear on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 9 p.m., is actually, in fact, now going to be carried by the Xsite Radio family, airing on Xsite Radio on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific, as well as their 66 other syndicated stations. So I am extremely proud to announce that. Yay! Woo! Right? And in studio here with me is the very talented, the soulful, the amazing musical genius that is Dane Owens. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Mr. Hadley. Thank you for that. I don't think I'll ever live up to that description.
Mr. Hadley? That's my father if I knew who he was, you know?
We'll just go Hadley.
There we go. We keep it sporty.
We do.
I showed up in shorts today. You know what I mean? Like,
I got my shorts on too.
Oh, well, there you go. So we're twins. So Chris Dane Owens, we just heard the song "World Turns Round." This is off of a recent album, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
right?
the album is a little bit older than that, but I wasn't able to do the follow-up single to "Shine on Me," which was rather successful for me immediately, and so I wound up doing a little detour, which a lot of us do in the independent music world these days, and joined another band and rocked out and just had a great time with Bella Bizarria, with my friend Cherish Alexander and the guys. And so then it came time to do the follow-up single, and remastered it, and so it's a brand new release for me. And the album's a little bit older, but the single's new to me, and the video is certainly new. I just finished it in 2014.
Wow, okay. Well, congratulations on the new single. Congratulations on the video. And so a little bit of history for the Hadley Hour listeners. Chris Dane Owens, CDO as he goes by, was a guest with the band Bella Bizarria some time ago when the Hadley Hour was Music and Madness with Rocky and the Hads. And Rocky, as I've mentioned in the past, is with us here in spirit. In fact, actually, I talked to him today. And I invited him to come on. And
how's he doing?
He's great. He's great. And I'm like, dude, you should come on to your own show. Totally. You know what I mean? Like, I miss you. It's just me here now. And so those of you that might have not have been listening in the past, it was very much Rocky was the straight man, right? And I was the lovable goof, And
you guys had a lot of fun. And
my gosh.
Bella Bizarria, we had a great time doing the show with you.
We had
really
so much fun with you guys too.
Thank you.
And that's the best part is finding, people that are serious about their talent. You know what I mean? That are driven. That bring a certain, I guess, a je ne sais quoi, if you will, outside of just being able to play their instruments. You know what I'm saying? Because there's plenty of times where we've been in interviews with people and they just sit there like bumps on logs.
I'll try not to be too bumpy.
No, it's a bump away by all means because I love to talk. I'm the megalomaniac. Now this is my show. It's the Hadley Hour now.
It's all about you, brother.
Yeah, really. So, what's going on in the world of Bella Bizarria before we get back to you?
Yeah, good stuff. We have a new single that we'll be putting out in about a month. And we're just getting ready to mix that right now, and it's something that we're all proud of and we wrote together, and we may do a video for it. I'm not sure. I directed the last Bella Bizarria music video as well, which is very different than the stuff I do with my solo art, but it's more of a traditional rock video structure, but I think you might see a video for that also.
So what's it like to direct?
Great fun. I mean, especially these days when a lot of it's just go pick up a camera and shoot the heck out of whatever you're doing, and then have fun in post, looking at the treasures that kind of pop in your eye, and then you just assemble what I call like a treasure box full of shots, and then from your treasure box you basically build the storytelling or just the looks and the feel of the video. And it's I have a lot of fun with it. The complicated stuff I do more with my own solo stuff is rather elaborate, and there's storyboarding, and I sketch my shots like crazy, and plan the look of it and everything, so it takes a lot longer. I actually worked on this video for nearly a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And so in the okay, so this is something I've actually always wanted to know about somebody who's directed and made music videos. It's like you write the song. How do you derive the visual aesthetic from the song itself? I'll give you a great example. Like when I listen to Sabotage by the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
I would have never imagined in a million years like a 70s era cop show, cheeseball kind of thing. Like, how do you get to the point of deciding what is actually going to go on this storyboard?
Well, I think it's different for all artists because a lot of artists will work with a label and they'll say, hey, we've got a new video. And then they put out the word to directors, and directors write up their conceits, their ideas. They submit those, and there could be 100 different conceits for one song.
Wow.
And the label and the artist typically will read all those and choose which one they think would be hip, and maybe they look at the other work that their director's done. Obviously for my stuff, it's a little bit different because it's very personal and I'm directing it as well. So I have a sense of what the story of the song is, what I want to communicate to people. And then I obviously take a lot of liberties or heighten the drama, so to speak, because Lightspeed, the new song, is as a song, it's a rock tune, but it's kind of an epic motion picture style video that I think a lot of people wouldn't have imagined when you just listen to the track itself.
So when you're writing the song, do you think, I already know what I'm going to do here for the video?
No, that was the surprise for me. When I was working on my record, I was almost done with it essentially, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with the music video. And I realized I have some skills because I've been a producer in Hollywood for a while.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I want to get to that later
we'll
on.
talk about that.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I have a great Rolodex of friends and really talented people, and kind of a skill set that I've acquired. And I thought, well, I want to do something special that really speaks to my love of motion picture and my love of directing. So that's kind of how this all came about. It was a little bit of a sidetrack from what I might have done, but it was a wonderful journey, and I'm still on it. It's kind of been extraordinary for me.
Wow. All right, so here's what we're talking about here. Just to kind of recap, the takeaway is that Christine Owens is a woven fabric of talents here as a songwriter, as a director, as a conceptual artist. So, but we have plenty of music because I want to make sure that we get everything in here. I know we only have an hour together, so it's a very tightly packed hour. But, so in the meantime, what do we have here?
Here She Comes, I think.
Yeah, Here She Comes. And again, this is off the same album. And where can they find the album once again?
The album, if you go to just ChristineOwens.com, that'll link you to iTunes and a whole lot of other places, Amazon and so forth. And there's a limited edition CD that a person can still buy.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have too many of those, really mostly with the downloads these days.
Yeah,
but
saves a lot of money.
It does, but if you just go to ChristineOwens.com, that'll kind of direct you.
Right. I mean, because I remember when I was in a band, it's like we were all about like, how are we going to get a deal on 1,000 CDs? We got to scrape this money together, blah, 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 you know?
Sure, and now it's just so amazing. It's just a wonderful era to be creatively vital.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what, as a comedian myself, I mean, it's actually, in some cases, a lot more difficult as much as it's easier because there's just so much content available out there. I mean, how do you fight, against all of the other, how do you rise above everyone else?
Boy, I don't have the recipe for that other than, when I did the Shine On Me video, I just posted it because I was still working on my album, and all of a sudden it just exploded on me. And I had no idea that would even occur. And write-ups and international exposure and television shows and everything. So I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
If I can figure it out, I'll bottle it and I'll just,
right. I mean, I was going to say, you figure that one out. But in the meantime, so we're going to go ahead and move on with the next song. Here She Comes by Dane Owens. You can find him at www. That's ChristineOwens.com. CDO in the house here. And here she comes. And here we go.
Something's happening, something Have you ever dreamed of taking a French cooking class from a renowned chef in Paris? Or maybe a Spanish guitar lesson from an expert guitarist in Spain? How about a personal training session with a celebrity fitness instructor in New York? Well, now you can on Expertory.com. Expertory is an online destination that allows you to learn all the things you've ever dreamed of without ever leaving your home. Simply search for the subject you're interested in, choose a time that works best for your schedule, and book a live video chat session with an expert anywhere in the world. The first 100 listeners this week to enter promo code Indy100 will receive a 20% discount on any booking. Expertory.com, where you meet the experts.
We need sounders. I need sounders.
Yeah.
You know, like the Hadley Hour. Wow. Yeah, right. Super explosion. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, so maybe we'll have the Xsite family draw some of those up. But
congratulations, my friend. That's so exciting. 66 new stations. You can't beat that.
Oh my gosh, you couldn't beat it with a stick. Well, you could try, but I mean, you know, but yeah, it's 66. You know, and I don't even know what that's going to look like yet. But at the same time, I mean, it's still. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, it's all about jumps in social media. And you'd be surprised how people are so hyper reactive on internet radio compared to terrestrial radio.
Is that right?
Yeah, because, I mean, like, even during your show when you were on with Bella Bizarria.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm speaking with Chris Dane Owens. You can find him at ChrisDaneOwens.com. And we are listening to a whole slew of his music with a super exciting single coming up a little bit later. But in the meantime, yeah, when Bella Bizarre was on and the show was airing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we were actually getting, you know, like shout outs from Germany and from the Netherlands and Indonesia.
We love that.
Yeah, no, I love it too, especially, you know, because I mean, our biggest export is culture. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and in fact, we were talking between songs, and I kind of maybe wanted to recap it without making you have to go through the whole exhausting story.
Sure.
But you had mentioned that you were a producer.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell the listeners in what kind of format and what you're all about?
I have a television company, and we've been creating shows for, about 10 years. And it's mostly reality format stuff, although there's some scripted world stuff. But reality, one of the shows that I just love that we did was on the Animal Planet called Who Gets the Dog, which is a real feel-good show where we literally rescue a dog from the pound and find 3 households that all want to adopt it. And we put the dog in the household, capture the footage, and then judges review and decide which family is best for that dog. And then at the end of the episode, you got to watch because the dog's going to spend the rest of its life with that family.
Right.
So we have been building a reputation in Hollywood of being idea guys, creators of concepts, and so we've had quite a bit of sales and quite a bit of shows on the air.
So then, you know, in a situation like that, I mean, it almost is a little bit of a slight competition between all 3 families, right? I mean, so
it is absolutely.
You know, so did the other 2 families get made whole somehow? I mean, like they don't do a home edition of the game, obviously.
No, you know what's cool about it is the dog is only with them for 24 hours, so it's not like they spent a week and they're so attached to it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting also because I found that there's usually one family that you immediately took out of the running because maybe they had a child that was too small and it wasn't right for that big dog.
Sure.
Somebody usually was like, it's really a toss-up between these 2.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's great dogs to be rescued every day at the pound, so it's like just go find another wonderful companion.
I was on Animal Planet, actually.
What'd you do?
I was on a show called I Survived.
Yeah.
And it was basically one of those reenactment shows where apparently a guy that looks very much like me was traveling through China. I guess he'd had some family issues or whatever. He just kind of needed to get away and explore the world. And he gets off the bus stop in rural China, you know, to want to photograph some elephants. But elephants out in the wild are very aggressive.
Right.
Or so I found out through doing this show.
Did you really?
Yeah. And so, well, I mean, I didn't shoot any scenes with any elephants because that's all, you know, smoke and mirrors and tricks of photography and such. And, but it was weird because apparently I was the second string reenactor. In other words,
some other guy had done the same thing.
Yeah, some other guy had filmed the better part of the show.
Oh.
And then they brought me on, and the only way I even figured this out was because some guy at this, we were doing like we were on an elephant preserve out in Valencia.
Yeah.
And he says to me, he's talking to me about something. I have no idea what he's talking about. And I'm like, wait, I don't, what are we talking about?
He thinks you're the other guy.
And he's like, wait, you're not the other guy? And I'm like, no. He's like, you look exactly like him. And all I can think is, damn it, there's 2 people that look like me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard enough in Hollywood as it is.
You know, I have one of those faces that people are always going, hey, Steve, hey, Bill. I'm like, no, that's not me. I seem to look like 2 other people.
I would have thought like a combination of like Guy Pearce and Andy Warhol.
Okay, I can dig that.
I mean, artistic and cool.
I seem to have this vibe where I look like somebody else.
Yeah. You know what? It makes you very easy to blend into a crowd.
Right. I can just hide.
So if this whole music and production thing doesn't work out, you know, you can always be a secret agent.
That's what I was planning on doing anyway. In fact, I'm doing it right now. You just don't know it.
Or Carl stunt double from Die Hard.
There you go.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I actually got some guy came up to me. Two guys came up to me. Hey, man, are you one of the villains from the original Die Hard?
Oh, no way!
I swear to you, absolutely. I've got that thing.
That is cool.
I was like, yeah, I am.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I got Zach Galifianakis one time. So.
Okay.
And unfortunately, one time I got Chaz Bono. But anyway, it happened, unfortunately. But I got a great joke out of it.
Good,
so,
yeah.
So it's actually hilarious because I will, like, it's a great, like, all-purpose joke because everybody sits there and goes, yeah, you do look like Chaz Bono. It's pretty sick. Like, all right. Especially, like, if I spike the hair up and grow out a little bit, that type of thing. But, which was weird because I actually myself had to shave my face to do an independent movie since the last time we talked.
Yeah.
It was like a college romp type of The Hangover.
Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Yeah.
And it was just weird because I'm in my mid-30s and I'm playing a college guy. And I was like, okay, if you say so.
Sure.
You
got a good young look, too.
Right. So, I mean, as far as the reality show world is concerned, you follow a lot of people around, not just obviously helping humanitarian efforts like getting dogs placed and stuff, but also just people's lives.
Yeah.
Right?
The trend these days, we built a reputation creating formats, which would be more like Who Gets the Dog, kind of where you put ordinary people into a particular situation and it's new people each week. But these days, what's really popular are the Ocu-series or docu-series, where you're just literally following somebody's occupation because that's interesting to watch and the people they interact with and the goals that they have of the occupation are fascinating. So,
did Dirty Jobs have anything to do with that?
There's always a trend.
Yeah.
One thing sends it in a particular direction, then everything follows suit.
Because I could see Dirty Jobs was sort of like, okay, well, I'm going to spend an episode of this and an episode of that and an episode of that. And if somebody was like, these guys should all have their own shows,
Yeah, people are, ordinary people, so to speak, are fascinating. And you point a camera at them and you produce it a certain way. And it's riveting. And I think that, there's a lot of shows that people are loving that are...
I love Pawn Stars.
Yeah, that are essentially
lie.
That are essentially just occupations that you're just watching what they do.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because I noticed that I'd say 99.9% of Pawn Stars episodes are all filmed during the day, and I got to see. I guess maybe they save that for hardcore Pawn. I don't know, like what happens at night. You know what I mean?
It's a whole other storyline.
Yeah, because people that are coming at night, generally are up to no good.
Got it.
But enough about TV and movies and all that stuff. I do want to plug the music. Again, you can find Chris Dane Owens at www.chrisdaneowens.com. Let's see, what do we got next? We got Superhuman coming up.
Superhuman, yeah. This is the track that you and I were just chatting about.
Right.
It has a cameo appearance from my father. There's a father and son duet.
Right. Now I want to save that for the end of the song. So because I want to talk more about that because for those of you that don't know, Chris Dane Owens' father is a very powerful human being, great and mighty, and
he has superhuman qualities. Right. He always does he always does his own voice, and he always does superheroes like Powder Toast Man and Space Ghost.
See, we're teasing it. We're teasing it now. So if you know those characters and you know the voice behind that, then you know the father of our artist here on the Hadley Hour, Chris Dane Owens. That's right. You are listening to the Hadley Hour, and coming up next right now, a little Superhuman action for you, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Here we go.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Despite salary disputes, the cast of CMT's Party Down South admitted defeat and will shoot Season 2 at their current pay rate. The redneck reality stars might have shown their lack of spine, however, no word yet on how much of that is from inbreeding. Booted from his second rehab facility, twice violating his probation means Chris Brown will now spend the next month in jail. Yes, because the perfect thing to do with a guy who loves to fight is lock him away in a place notorious for fighting. Not shy about her love for the devil's lettuce, a recording session picture was Instagrammed showing Miley Cyrus rolling a joint with lead singer of the Flaming Lips. However, considering Miley's tongue-out phase, I'm guessing there was so much slobber when she passed it back, he's since had to rename the band just The Lips. Comedian David Brenner passed away this weekend at the age of 78. Joan Rivers offered some kind words via Twitter, to which Brenner's ghost replied, "Thank you, Joan, and see you next week." And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hadley Hour. You are listening to the Hadley Hour. If you're listening to it on Indy100.com, it's airing on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you're listening on Xsite Radio, it is 9 p.m. Pacific Time, Friday nights. And all of the other 66. I'll take one of those. Yeah, man. 66 stations that this is airing on right now. I love y'all. I would love to say hello to you individually. And make sure that you check in with me, Jason Hadley, on Facebook. Comedian Jason Hadley on Facebook. What else? You can check in with the Hadley Hour on Facebook at Facebook.com/the Hadley Hour. You can follow me on Twitter at Comedian J Hadley. You can follow me. You can follow the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up on Twitter and the Facebook at Rockin' Wrap-Up. So enough about me. It's not about me. I know the show's called the Hadley Hour.
It is, and it really is about you. We just pretend that it's not when we come in.
You guys fill the space between the times I'm talking.
Right.
So in studio with me is Dane Owens. Again, you can find Dane Owens at www.chrisdaneowens.com, where you can find all of his social media links to Twitter and to Facebook, and you do like Instagram and stuff like that too.
No, I haven't done an Instagram thing yet, and I just got on Twitter recently.
Really?
Yeah. I know. Okay. I'm kind of lame. I know. I admit it. But I have a Facebook fan page and post stuff. There's some cool behind the scenes pictures, some pictures from the video productions and the live stuff, the band stuff that I do, and so hopefully people like.
What's the furthest out globally from the United States you've ever had anybody ping in and listen in or kind of throw a shout out or anything like that?
Oh gosh, I mean, Australia's pretty far away.
Yeah, and, isn't it?
Yeah, I was telling this on a recent podcast, but like that band OK Go was guest VJing, and I love those guys, and they were fans of the Shine On Me video, and they when they wanted to guest host on Rage, which is really popular in Australia, they said, yeah, we'll come on, but you got to play the Christine Owens Shine On Me video. And so the station contacted me. I sent them a version of the video, and I started to, it created a wonderful fan base for my art in Australia, as well as Japan. Certainly a lot of popularity for it, because high fantasy is what I'm really into, and adventure and action, romance, and so Japan, there's certainly a base audience there. Russia, that's so cool that the Russian people are aware of my stuff. So it's really quite global, I have to be honest with you. And that's very satisfying as an artist to think, wow, the world is getting so small with all this technology and all this methods we can communicate with one another.
Well, I bet you're huge in that Hobbit town that they built in New Zealand, right? I mean, with all the fantasy.
Right, with the Middle Earth stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Middle Earth town. You know what's funny? I got to tell you, for some reason I couldn't get into... I think it was the third one. I was just like, the whole time...
Of the Lord of the Rings trilogy or the new one? Oh, okay, got it.
The Lord of the Rings trilogy.
That was the Return of the King, wasn't it? The last one.
Right. Well, because the whole time I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, wasn't there an eagle that offered them a ride at the beginning of this
you
whole
mean
thing?
the new Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug, right? Yeah, I dug it. You didn't like that one?
Well, I mean, I love the fantasy of it, because I grew up playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons myself, and so... to finally see that whole thing realized, it's like, I guess it's sort of like the G.I. Joe movie when it came out. I was in my 30s when it came out, which was just, to me, it felt like a ploy to get my nostalgia to bring my kids to the movie, to double up the tickets, as opposed to like, had you done it back then, I would have been okay with it,
Okay, sure.
Because there are a lot of people who, there's a Spider-Man movie that came out in the early 80s. It was like a made-for-TV movie or something like that.
They did that with Captain America and a bunch of those superheroes.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, they tried so hard. They just didn't have the technology then.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Now with the visual effects, anything's possible, isn't it? Do you see the new Lego movie, by the way?
No, not yet.
It's so
I want
fun.
to.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, please. Do you know how many Legos I've stepped on in my day? Right?
Can I tell you a story?
Please.
My brother and I used to have Lego wars where we would build these little cars, demolition cars, and just run them down the terrazzo, and they would explode. And his car always won, always. And I was like going, how's that possible? Why does your car always win? It wasn't until later I realized he was gluing every piece together, and mine would explode on impact. And I'm like, oh, man, bigger brothers are good for that, stumping little brothers.
Wait, I got a question. What's a terrazzo?
Terrazzo is like it's like a marble style of flooring.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. I had linoleum.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so we just heard, before we heard the Hollywood Rock and Wrap-Up, we heard Superhuman, which is a little bit more of a techno vibe.
It is. In fact,
or
that
a technical vibe.
Yeah, that was the direction of the album when I first started. I wasn't going to sing. I wasn't going to do lyrics. I was barely going to do melody, just more like chanting and stacked vocals.
Okay.
And then, so I did Wicked and Superhuman, and then Damian Valentine, the wonderful writer-producer that I worked with on the album, we just started to venture in different territory, and then it became more melody and lyric and pop rock oriented. But I really like doing the techno rock stuff. It's really fun, really satisfying, and it has a different emotion. To me, it feels more soundtrack like in a way.
Well, I mean,
Oh, and we were going to say the vocal. My father, my father
that's
did the
right.
vocal. Yeah.
Okay, so for Chris Dane Owens, again, www.chrisdaneowens.com, a very special legacy, if I may be so bold as to say.
Sure.
You know, your father is the great voice actor and screen actor now, because of his voice acting, Gary Owens.
He is, yeah. And I grew up in Hollywood, and
Wow.
And my dad's had a really pretty remarkable career doing tons of on-camera stuff and tons of commercials. And what's a lot of people respond to is when he may have done a million things, but if you go, oh yeah, have you ever seen Powdered Toast Man on Ren and Stimpy? People go crazy for that. I mean, if you search it, there's millions of tattoos of Powdered Toast Man on people's arms.
Powdered Toast Man, yeah, no, I know
Toast Man.
I totally grew up on Ren and Stimpy.
It's so cool. And then like Space Ghost and Blue Falcon and Roger Ramjet, which is an older cartoon. So lots of cartoon superheroes. And what's funny is he almost always just plays himself. It's not like he does a lot of other voices.
Yeah, right.
He's just always the commanding superhero guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Ronan Martin's Laugh-In was the thing that really put he and Lily Tomlin and Goldie Hawn and a bunch of other people on the map, and was wildly successful at the time.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a remarkable career for him, and he has a star on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah,
and
he does.
all that good stuff, right?
He does. Yeah.
That would be fun to aspire towards, or just certainly career-long accolades.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever held your ear or your hand to your ear, cupped your hand over your ear, you've done the Gary Owens signature. What do you call that? I mean, that's like
well, DJs used to do that in the early radio.
That happened?
Yeah, because you can hear yourself better. It's literally like if you're doing a remote broadcast and you cup your hand over your ear, it bounces the sound from your mouth to your ear. It's like, it directs it. And if you ever notice that, just try that. You'll go, wow, I really can hear myself better.
Yeah, because I just reminded me of the scene. You never see the episodes of Saved by the Bell when they all form the band. You know, they do the band episodes.
No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay, well, so they always all these teen sitcoms and stuff. They always do the band episodes.
Oh, let's do the band, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We're gonna start a band. The Brady Bunch did their band and stuff like that. But I remember that they were all sitting there in the recording studio, singing, with their lyric sheets and just holding their hand over their ear, but there was no speaker in their hand or anything like that.
Even as a singer, it does help.
Yeah.
It just gets you a little hearing yourself better, and you can direct your pitch, make sure your pitch is on.
Because when I listen to myself on the radio, I'm like, really? I sound like that?
Oh.
I don't know. I just don't have a concept of it, but, I don't know.
Sound good to me, brother.
Oh, thanks. You made me feel special. So is Mr. Owens still working today?
He's working. There's a television network called Antenna that he's the voice of all the promos for that, does everything, and that's kind of like what TV Land used to be. They show reruns of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s television shows, a lot of sitcoms and so forth.
That stuff's cheap to buy.
It is. It's basically repurposing all these great shows, and the writing, Andy Griffith and all those things. So the writing is so good on these shows, and so he does the voice of the whole network.
Because it was the first time they ever did it.
It was. It
right?
had
You know what I mean?
Newness to it, and there was a kind of a moral code they tried to follow on these things.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so yeah, a lot of that early television is really strong and very watchable. I mean, the Lucy show, I Love Lucy, is amazing to watch to this day.
Yeah.
And yet it was really the pioneering sitcom of its time.
Yeah. Ironically, though, it's actually filed away in the horror section because the laugh track is all dead people now. So anyway,
time marches on for all of us, doesn't it?
Right. I mean, if you just kind of think about it for a second, everybody in that laugh track is dead.
Spirits everywhere.
I know, right? But that's the thing that they captured. I guess the era, as far as the purity of that time, but really wasn't any of that. It was that pure. It was. I think there was the machine,
right?
Kind of churn and spoon feeding everybody.
Sure, and the censorship at the time, that was really important part of it, and that what made Laugh-In so subversive is that they got a ton of things through the censors all the time that they were just so hip, because of the '60s and the late '60s, and it was free love and drug humor and political pokes at everybody. Nothing was really sacred, and so it was. Even to this day, it's still pretty hip to watch. Right. And a lot of people attribute the election of Nixon, because Nixon came on the show and said, "Sock it to me."
That's right.
And his opponent at the time wouldn't do it, and they thought, well, this made Nixon hip, who a lot of people thought he wasn't.
Yeah, this was his Bill Clinton playing the sax on Arsenio Hall.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I can imagine. So what is on the horizon here for Chris Dane Owens, who you can find at www.chrisdaneowens.com?
That's so smooth, yeah. Well, I'm just beginning to promote the new video and the single, and I had planned on doing a music video trilogy out of this. So there's possibly a third music video that will complete the trilogy. And if you look at it, it's left with a kind of a big cliffhanger, like what's going to happen. Right. I did that on purpose to see how I feel. Yeah. I'm not shooting it right now. I'm just in the promotion mode, and then Bella Bizarria's got a new single coming out pretty soon, and then just doing all the other stuff I do.
Does any of this stuff ever, like from the music standpoint, ever result in touring or anything like that?
Not presently. I mean, Bella Bizarria has played a lot of shows locally here in Los Angeles, and that's been so much fun for me because for me that's bring out my guitar, plug into a Marshall, and rock out with the guys and Cherish, and it's cool and it's easy, and I just dig it. But my stuff is kind of elaborate, actually rather elaborate. And I would want to do, if I did live performances for it, I'd want it to be pretty extraordinary, at least in terms of my standards and what I'd like to have people seeing.
You mean from like a showmanship standpoint?
Yeah. And so I'm bound by that emotionally. So I tend to like the other stuff because it's so much simpler.
No doubt. And that's the thing. I mean, simple is sometimes elegant. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. I just feel like my solo stuff is designed to vex me in a particular way, so it's complicated and it's puzzles that I need to figure out. I seem to enjoy that challenge.
Right, so that people brood over it.
I guess. Right, exactly. Puzzle over it.
Yeah, right. They're in deep contemplation.
Well, the funny thing is that because it's spoken in shorthand and it's like a movie trailer, the images come fast and furious, and it's
spoken in shorthand?
It is. In other words, this is like a movie trailer where the images are very fast and they're coming at you and they speak of larger storytelling, like a movie trailer would. So you kind of go like, I wonder what that's like, or I wonder what the bigger story is.
Right.
So
in a world,
it's exactly like that. Yeah. And so I tend to gravitate towards that method of communicating to people.
Wow. Okay. Right on. Well, I'll tell you what. We're actually we're kind of closing in on the home stretch here. Yeah. Shoot. We only got another 20 minutes together. So I'll tell you what. I want to move on to another song here.
Is this one "Shine on Me"?
Yes, this is "Shine on Me."
So this was the single that changed my life because I released this first, put out the music video for it, and as mentioned, the video exploded for me, and it was covered on television, and G4 played it, and VH1 played it, and E! Channel played it, and then it got picked up in Australia, played it, and it's been played in all these countries. And there was a wonderful piece, behind the scenes piece, that was done in France with interviews and everything, and so it's like really remarkable.
Wait, behind the scenes,
the making of the video.
So you made this in France?
No, the video was made here, but
I was
like in terms of the success of it and what got picked up on, and
sure,
and the French market, they did a whole piece on the "We love your video, and can we look at the behind the scenes and how you did it?" And I had some behind the scenes footage, so put it all together, and so that's what's up. And you can find that on my website too. That's the European TV clip is up there.
Wow,
it was really cool, and then reach outs from all around the world, and really, it's quite extraordinary. I got contacted by a lot of quote unquote celebrities, and that was always exciting, and really just hearing how it touched people's lives, how this particular form of art spoke to people.
So then what was the moment where you just were like, I did it?
Well, there's been a couple, right?
Yeah.
But one of them was very early on, the New Yorker magazine called it the best video of the year.
Whoa.
And I was like, wow, because they're so prestigious. I didn't even know they looked at music videos.
I wouldn't have thought so either.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you guys review music videos.
Yeah, it's all black and white etched cartoons,
right.
that
and
nobody gets.
That was one of those like, oh, that's really cool, because I was going for maybe a particular standard, which was high and motion picture-y, and that magazine seemed to embrace what our goal was in doing it. So that was one of those things. And then Rolling Stone did a piece on it, and I'd been wanting to be in Rolling Stone ever since I was a kid, so that was pretty extraordinary.
You were in Rolling Stone.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
So those
man.
kind of things. And a lot of bands have this that excitement. You get starry-eyed about certain things, and those were certainly those moments. And then the rest was just hearing the audience, people going, "Hey, I love your stuff." The only problem is I set the standard like, yes, and there's going to be a trilogy, and it's coming out soon. And I'm like, oh man. I didn't have the resources to do it at the time.
Wow.
Fortunately, the funding came in, and this new video is completely fan funded. That the support of the fans over time was enough for me to do this. So that's really rewarding, and I'm so grateful to everybody that got behind it. That's
proof, at least, that you're going in the right direction. I mean, if strangers are willing to come out of pocket to help you realize your dream, these are people who clearly believe in you.
Yeah, and it's, again, I'm giving everybody a big hug right now that supported the work, because
feel free to name names.
Awesome.
If there's anybody that
Planet Earth, all the people on Planet Earth.
I love it. And maybe even anybody outside of Earth that might have been picking up the signal at the time.
Zoltar, the people of Zoltar, those guys rule.
Right? Yeah. Or who are the people that the Scientologists think are all inside us? The Thetans?
Is that right? I don't know.
I don't know. They all believe that there's an alien that's all living within us, and that's what we do is we purge that out.
Oh, I see. Got it.
I want to say they're Thetans, but maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
I don't follow it, but clearly I'm never going to be in a John Travolta movie, so it's okay. But I'll tell you what, in the meantime, this is the song that made the video that helped make the career, folks. You are listening to the Hadley Hour on a multitude of stations. I'm here with Christine Owens at www.christineowens.com. And let's rock it out with Shine On Me. Here we go.
Right on.
True.
listening to the Hadley Hour here on the world. You're listening on the world.
You've gone global, brother.
Right. I've
take
gone.
it back.
Radio Dubai. I love you. Radio Detroit. I love you. Why not? It's just, you know what? I wish we had more time for this because I would.
Right.
I might just like not book a guest one week and just say thank you to everybody individually.
You should.
You know, because I'm just so grateful for the exposure. So
Gratitude is everything.
yeah, attitude of gratitude, right? And in fact, actually, I'm extremely grateful to be joined here by the musical talents of Chris Dane Owens. You can find him at www.chrisdaneowens.com, where you can find his Twitter and his Facebook and his MySpace and his Flickr and I don't know.
And things that haven't even been invented, we have up there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, and the stuff that's hot, he's bringing back to old school because now he's on the Facebook. Oh no. I didn't do that. Wait, hold on. Okay,
Look
sorry about that. That was me.
That's the teaser.
Yeah, right. That was the teaser.
We're going to play a song that sounds just like that soon.
Right. In fact, actually, that's most of the reason why we're here. We've been building up to this moment. I'm super stoked about this. So, just to kind of recap here, we heard "Shine on Me," which was the video that took off, that put you on the map here.
Yeah.
And you're just pressing forward, and you're here with this new single called "Lightspeed."
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about kind of where this came from, what it's all about. Enlighten me.
It's
Us.
It's elaborate, but it's really a fantasy world that was kind of created from my imagination, and it's essentially tells the story of a young woman, lovely actress named C.L. Thompson, who plays Aura. The fantasy kingdom is called Aura of the Third Kingdom, and I'm just a member of it. And it's basically run by three witches that are empresses, and they rule the realm. And Aura is secretly being trained by angels, which you see in the video, in a form of defensive magic to overthrow this realm and bring about a golden age for their world. And it's a very spiritual age. In other words, there's a knowledge and a science of soul that takes place in these videos and in this realm that we're describing here. And so my character was part of the witch's realm. He was basically a bad guy that fell in love and had a change of heart. And Shine on Me is all about love and how love can transform a person's heart. And Lightspeed is more of an understanding of how spirit works in a way, and also a reinforcement of that, of the love and the power of love. And where it's going in terms of the epic conclusion is a massive battle of light and dark.
Right.
There's magic, there's witchcraft, and there's...
And this is all within a song?
Well, this is within the video song context. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, you bet.
Wow.
From a thematic standpoint, the videos are telling an elaborate story. The songs are more of a simple theme, which is just love and the power of love in one's life, and the power of spirit in one's life as well.
But you're packing more into a 3-minute and 54-second video than
there's a lot.
Peter Jackson put in 3 movies.
There's a lot that goes on.
By the way to be smart though and take one story and split it into 3 videos. You know what I mean? Because Peter Jackson really missed the boat when he took one book, like 3 books, and made it into 3 movies. It's like with The Hobbit nowadays, it's like I think it's 2 movies.
Hobbit's
now, right?
actually 1 book, which is not even a very big book, turned into 3 movies.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
we're
what I'm
waiting
saying.
for the 3rd installment, I guess, next Christmas.
Wow. And to think, I missed out on almost all the Harry Potters.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so well done.
I know. I kind of want to just binge watch them all on a Saturday.
You got to do it, brother. They're so well crafted.
Because I never read the books. Because
you don't need to.
No.
But start from 1 just so that you build. It really gets very dark and really impressive from a cinematic standpoint, and really great themes running through it, and some really touching moments throughout.
And you know what's interesting? What I love about the fantasy realm itself is I think it promotes a lot more artistic development and expression and expansion and intellectualizing, or being more intellectual as far as your approach to life.
Well, I appreciate that because there's so much that human beings don't know about existence, about what the future might look like, about the vastness of the universe. Fantasy is a doorway to communicating ideas and knowledge and inspirational images that just can speak to people and, in a way, become transcendent, become something that you vibrate with on a particular level, that you feel are opening your mind, if you will, to larger realities.
And that's the context in which people don't laugh at you when you say that sort of stuff. You know what I mean?
It's very true, right?
Yeah.
Because this stuff gets very heady and very goofy at times,
right?
doesn't it?
Yeah, because anybody who ever talks about like conspiracy theories in the middle of a cocktail party is immediately going, "Oh, well, you might as well go get your tinfoil hat," But it's like, or when you're standing in a room full of a Comic-Con or something like that, I mean, you feel at home.
Yeah.
You're amongst your
Sure,
own.
and people love it, and they pull so much from it in different ways, deeply personal and things that unite people as well, which I love.
Right.
So yeah, I'm kind of a fantasy guy. I just really respond to it. I guess maybe growing up with a father who plays cartoon superheroes had something to do with that. I don't know. But yeah, it really speaks to me.
It's like when I go to the gathering of the Juggalos.
Okay. Whatever works, brother. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm sitting there in my white face paint. And,
yeah, I dig it. So yeah, I mean, I'm wearing armor in these videos, you know, and that,
cool.
That was what I wanted it to look like. And so it's fun, and there's action. There's a lot of action in this new video.
Wow.
And people seem to be enjoying it more than the first.
Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. So I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and kick this off here real quick. Lightspeed, the new single. You're listening to it here on the Hadley Hour, www.chrisdaneowens.com. And, we're closing out on the show, but we're going to hear the song and we'll come back and say goodbye.
Come stay with me. Come stay
right, folks, welcome back. You are listening to the Hadley Hour here everywhere on Indy 100, on the Xsite Radio family, the entire slew of affiliates that are backed by the Xsite Radio family. I'm here in the studio with Dane Owens, ChrisDaneOwens.com. You can find him. We got 1 minute. I just want to let you know, do you have any shout-outs? Anybody you want to say?
Jason, first of all, I want to thank you so much, my friend, for having me here. It's been so much fun. And
you got me in the feels.
I'll figure out that chicken joke better. I just want to say thanks to my fellow producers on the Lightspeed video. That's my good buddy Jason Schulz, who you see in the video as well. He's the guy with the tricorn hat. And Amy Stewart, who's a wonderful artist that stepped in and did art direction and was a producer on the video. And my good buddy Gev Babidian, he did all the visual effects on it. And my editor that I co-edit everything with these days, Jennifer Barlow. I love you guys, and thanks so much for being a part of the adventure with me.
Now I like ending on a loving note, you know?
It's all about love for me, man.
Right. So again, thank you again, Dane Owens, for coming in. CDO to everybody who knows him fine and true. And you can find his music at www.ChrisDaneOwens.com. You have been an amazing audience. I want to thank each and every one of you individually. So feel free to reach out to me at comedianjasonhadley@gmail.com. Email me directly. But in the meantime, I will catch you next week. And thanks so much for listening.
Worldwide, more deaths per year are linked to air pollution and automobile accidents.
Southeast Asian country threatened to begin launching its missiles.
Approximately 55% of dogs in population shelters are killed. An armed man took the lives of 7 children in what area of Hollywood is